Yo, parish orphans and retrogrades, and especially locals supporters. What you see is the first episode, short Sunday episode of Rules for Retrogrades in the new studio, the new digs. So instead of khaki brick wallpaper, we have real brick. And I'm actually in a corner between two sets of brick. You have both my neons up at once. We are in a new studio space. It had been getting constructed for about 6 months. So thank you all locals supporters and donor supporters. That goes to the man. Local supporters goes to support the show. Thank you so much because you enabled us to get this better space, fancier, and we're really excited to do the first show here. Steph was pumped. I was pumped. We weren't sure we were going to do it today. We knew we were going to do it sometime this week. Thank you for supporting me. If you want to continue supporting me, I would love it. I appreciate it. We have our second class, the One Flesh marital class, on Wednesday. It's not too late to sign up for that at timothyjgordon.com. If you want to support this show on Locals, it would be amazing. And you see the good works. So today I'm going to bring you the Sunday Gospel. It's a new thing we've been trying. My analysis, which will be for everybody, will be inspired by the Catena Aurea. Remember Thomas's commentary on the four Gospels, taken from not Thomas's brain, but from the patristics. Now, if you're actually a local supporter, stay watching. It's going to be a longer show because that will be behind the paywall. And I'll do the behind the scenes behind my house, so I'm in my house. And I'll read you some of the actual patristics. But what will be for everybody, not behind the paywall, will be just the gospel from today and some of the general analysis, which is informed by the Catena. That doesn't mean that I'm going to read any of the Catena to you. So today, at most masses that were said, it was read from Mark chapter 8, verses 27 through 35. Jesus went out and his disciples into the towns of Caesarea Philippi. And by the way, he asked his disciples, saying unto them, whom do men say that I am? And they answered, John the Baptist. Some said Elijah, and others, one of the other prophets. And he said unto them, but whom say ye that I am? And Peter answered and saith unto him, thou art the Christ. And he charged them that they should tell no man of him, just like last week. Don't tell anyone of this. And he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things, and he rejected of the elders, be rejected of the elders, and of the chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again, or rise on the third day. And he spake that saying openly. And Peter took him and began to rebuke him. Like, don't do anything that'll get you killed, Lord. Something like that. But when he had turned about and looked on his disciples, he rebuked Peter strongly, saying, get thee behind me, Satan, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but the things that be of men, like the pride of life, wanting to continue your life and avoid becoming who you really are, just because it might get you killed. A few general comments that I've gleaned from a few different commentaries for the local supporters. I'll go into some of these patristics listed in the Catena afterwards. First off, it's interesting that John the Baptist and Elijah are both confusions that some of the people are making for Jesus, mistakes. John the Baptist is the New Testament Elijah. They call him Elijah reborn. Elijah is the greatest of the prophets. John the Baptist is arguably greater than the greatest of the prophets. He's blood related to Jesus. So that's interesting. And then other people are just saying Jesus might be one of the other prophets. Of course, he is prophet, but he's also priest and king. He's also the Son of Man. He's also the Son of God, and he's also God himself. He saith unto them, but who say ye that I am? And Peter answered, thou art the Christ. And again, he tells them, okay, the Christ, that means the Messiah. That doesn't necessarily mean God. But he tells them again, like in last week's gospel, don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone of my miracles. Don't tell anyone that I am the Christ. That's interesting. And we had some analysis last week for why he wants to cover up, to conceal these good things about his ministry at that point. Same thing this week. He begins to teach him that the Son of Man must suffer many things. He's going to die. He's going to rise again. This Son of Man term is actually the most common title in all of the Gospels for Jesus, the Son of Man. What is it? It's a title associated again with the Messiah from the book of Daniel. Now, it's associated with an eternal reign. So it's messianic, yes, but it's also borderline divine. You might hear the critiques of the synoptic gospels that they don't treat much of Christ's divinity. Only John's gospel does that. Well, one of the responses that I've always given to this is the synoptic gospels mention that Christ is the Son of Man frequently. Son of Man is, if he has an eternal reign, as he is said to in the book of Daniel, in the Old Testament. Well, this is getting to be close to a claim to divinity, because the claim to being the Messiah is not identical to the claim to being divine. But at least we have John's gospel anyway. He spake that, saying openly, and Peter took him and rebukes him and says, we don't want you to die. And Jesus, right after this beautiful expression of Peter's devotion to our Lord, who was his Lord, you know, and he's the first one to recognize who Jesus is because he's a leader among the apostles. Then he says this cowardly thing, typical of Peter, kind of Peter two-step, Petrine two-step. Says something beautiful and leaderly and courageous and perspicacious. And then a second later, he turns around and does something cowardly, obtuse, and alienating to Jesus. And Jesus calls him Satan. That's funny. Yeah, thou savorest not the things that be of God, but the things that be of men. It's kind of harsh, but it's true, and he needed to hear it. So I would say that for the second week in a row, we have Mark's gospel. For the second week in a row, we have a beautiful aspect of Jesus's ministry being ordered to be covered, concealed, and then we get one of the confessions of Jesus as I am the Messiah. That's important. And then, of course, you see some of Peter's psychology as well. Like this video, subscribe it, click the notification bell. Those of you who are locals, stick around, and we're going to talk about what some of the particular characteristics said. But for the rest of you, do support me on locals. Then you'll get the full video on Sundays. And besides that, you know, you help keep the lights on in this brand new, beautiful studio. And of course, you know, to do this 3-4 times a week requires some commitment. And I really appreciate it. And you want to support the channel, besides becoming a local supporter, consider joining the One Flesh Marriage Workshop. The textbook for that, of course, is the now available Leave and Cleave book, which you can get on timothyjgordon.com. You can sign up for the class and get a signed copy of the book there. Do so. Click the notification bell. Click the like button. We really appreciate it.